Welcome, everyone. This is Pine Grove News Live. Live on the coast. Oh, gotta go turn that off. Always in the way. Live on the East Coast. It is 6:01 p.m. here, East Coast. Pretty hot. No, I just can't take the heat anymore. It's 87 degrees, and I feel like 88. And tomorrow will be 85. Sunday will be 90. Let's see. And then we get into the following next week. Monday will be 91. Tuesday, 93. So we're definitely heading into and remaining close to 90 and above 90 for at least 4 or 5 days. Yeah, it's summertime. Summertime, summertime, summer. Any case, let's see. Better than overseas, man. We'll talk about that. We have an article there. But what I didn't put out there in the news scheme of things, I'm going to tell you just a minute. I'm over there checking. See if we are live, YouTube. We are. Scheme of it. Yeah. So that's all working. Everything's working. It's got to be some button I forgot to push. Because every time I think that I got everything, it's just not that way. But anyway, what I didn't get into the news, I'll just go over briefly. Mainstream media, that's Fox News here, put out a couple things that I found to be interesting, and I couldn't find anything. Well, I did find one article that they mentioned over the air. But with that, I mean, they're talking about Navy SEALs, 20 of them sent home from Iraq. I guess they're now stationed or on their way to San Diego for alcohol related abuses and a sexual assault, apparently. I guess there's got to be some precedent in order for them to go to that extreme. But there are 20 of them that are being sent home. And I don't know if this is related or not, but it's a different number. 16 arrested at Camp Pendleton on drugs and human trafficking. Marines. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on with that. What's happening with our Marines? I know that some of these are young people going overseas and having a gun put in their hand. Yeah, it just, that's what messes with a lot of people, a lot of our soldiers. 18, I mean, they're barely able to distinguish who they want to be, what they want to be, what they're going to be doing. In some cases, when I was young, I mean, a lot of people went into service to avoid charges, being arrested, or just out and out troublemakers. And in most cases, it helped them. Gave them a little discipline. But yeah, even then, these young adults just turning 18, their minds are not, it's just forming. Things and thoughts and everything are just forming. That's when they start slowing down, because in the earlier teens, I mean, that's the generation gap where they think they know everything and they can't be told what to do, and their pants are on fire, But yeah, this is it's kind of indicative of everything that's going on. I mean, with the whole world, the whole moral fabric of human nature, human condition. It's just failing morally. Been for, since the 90s. But in any case, so that's out there. We'll get, more updates on that for you. And according to Fox News, there are 27 states now with salmonella poisoning in dog treats. And mostly it's the owners who are getting sick. And it turns out that it's the pig ears. So the owners are handling these pig ears, and they're getting sick. And according to Fox News, there were, let's see, 27 states. They didn't really give any numbers, but I went over to, I think we might have it in here. I'm not sure, but End Time Headlines says that there are 2 dead and 768 in 48 states. A little different than what Fox News has been telling you. I'm sure they cut down the numbers to keep the dramatics and the hysteria down. But End Time Headlines, 2 people are dead, 768 are ill with this salmonella poisoning, and that's in 48 states, not 27. Well, we'll see about that too. And early this morning when I went to work, the Democrats were filing for an impeachment against Donald Trump. And when I got home around 3 p.m., that tune had changed again, because they said that they were actually going to file in the morning. But Pelosi made a statement and said that they need more before they can do anything. Basically what she said. And so again, that's off the table. Whatever. They don't have anything to impeach him on. And of course, the drama continues, because they're going to continue. They probably already know that they've lost the presidency again, unless something drastic happens. And we can all pray for Mr. Trump. Continue to pray for him. I know we do. So with that, we can get going, and we'll talk about this T-Mobile and Sprint merger that has been approved by the Justice Department. This is from The Week. I went and emailed a brother of mine over at Shepherd's and asked him, because what does a Justice Department, government department, have to do with any companies merging together? Whatever happened to free enterprise? Well, apparently, that doesn't exist anymore either. I guess let's see what the answer was. So the answer to my question is why the Justice Department needs to get its approval of the T-Mobile Sprint merger. And I never did, I haven't heard of this before, but I don't normally follow that stuff. And my brother said because Wood could be perceived as a monopoly and would give a stranglehold on wireless communications. It could starve out any competitors. And so according to this article, T-Mobile, I guess, is number 3 and Sprint is number 4. And them merging, doesn't that make them probably number 2? I don't know how that works. I guess I'm just guessing that maybe Verizon is number 1. So in any case, I guess that's why the Justice Department needs approval. I don't get it. Whatever happened, like I said, the enterprise, capitalism, all that good stuff. So they are going to merger. A $26 billion merger. Okay, so there you have that. Probably, your bills too. Your bills will probably go up too, most likely. All right, so let's go on, and this is from the Watchers. Unusually strong cold fronts record low July temperatures in the southern U.S. Yeah, we already know that the weather is quite out of control. I mean, even us here in New England and, world watching over there in Northern California on the West Coast, in between these hot days, we get some, record cold nights and even the day. I mean, we've had two 90-degree days, and then we had a 75-degree day the following day. Okay, and the nighttime temperature's down to 50. So just crazy. And so we'll just read a little bit of this unusually strong cold front. You don't normally hear of cold fronts in July, right? So on the 24th and 25th, record, yeah. I saw a record somewhere. There we go. Bringing record low July temperatures to numerous cities throughout the region. Lower temperatures will continue across much of the region through the rest of the week. Numerous cities experience record low temperatures, including 58 degrees. There you go. I was watching some YouTuber the other day, some lady who's going around checking about empty buildings and containers that they thought might contain something other than construction tools, whatever. 58 degrees there. That was in California. I believe it was Southern California. But in any case, that's too cold. And it's the Salina, Kansas, 61 degrees. Anderson, South Carolina, 63 degrees. Abilene, Texas, 64 degrees. North Little Rock, Arkansas, 64 degrees. That's not right for July. 59 degrees, San Antonio, Texas, bringing the previous record of 60 degrees, breaking it. Yeah, well, we keep saying, man, we keep breaking records every year. Not a good thing. Let's go on. Apparently, in my state, over my head, what was it? Was it over the weekend? No, it was during the week because I am not outside normally after 8 o'clock unless my lights are triggered on. So this bright fireball streaked through the night sky over the East Coast. And that was 3:04 UTC time on the 25th. That was yesterday. So the American Meteor Society received 256 eyewitness reports from Connecticut, Delaware, Massachusetts, Maryland, Maine, North Carolina, New Jersey, New York, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Virginia, and Vermont. Yeah, that's basically the East Coast. So anyway, yeah, we have fireballs coming in a lot. And according to some people, we are in a particular part of the galaxy or something like that, where it's a little crowded and a little more debris, including the waves of energy, because we were supposedly just skirting a type of nebula. This supposedly 5 waves of energy. We've received 2, and basically hasn't been a whole lot of reporting on it. Still waiting for the other 3. In any case, let's go on. China, Russia, something to worry about. It was pretty scary just hearing about it. I mean, you knew the alliance was there, right? But now that they're, exercising, the military are exercising together, and they send a message to Washington. And this also triggered some things in Seoul and Japan. I mean, Russian bombers have always, been provocative. I mean, they've come across our airspace into Alaska. I mean, they do it on not a regular basis, but they do it quite a bit. I don't know how regular it is. I mean, it's not like they were waiting there. They know the time, but they do it. And now they're doing it with the Chinese in over South Korea and Japan. So this unprecedented joint Russian bomber patrol over disputed territory off the coast of South Korea and Japan was a massive deployment in their bid to challenge U.S. influence in the region. The joint patrol caused an outcry from Washington's two main allies in the region after both Tokyo and Seoul claimed a Russian plane violated their airspace. Yeah, took them a while too. So anyways, Seoul said Russian warplane twice entered South Korea airspace near disputed Dokdo inlets, spelled ISLETS, but I believe it's pronounced inlets. Anyways, Tokyo also claims and calls the same island Tsushima, and that it fired warning shots in return. So yeah, they got their fighters up there, both Japan and Seoul, and had to fire warning shots. So it doesn't, that's about all it really says in this brief description. It's a big deal because it displays the confidence that the air forces of the two nations can coordinate a patrol of this nature in ways that the region will almost certainly find destabilizing. Yeah, that could be a big problem. I mean, we are a superpower, of course. But remember that Russia and China have also been considered superpowers. I mean, I think it was just a couple of years ago, China was declared a superpower with their economy reaching or surpassing ours. And they've been doing a lot of things that a lot of things we don't know about, but things that we do know about is trouble enough. Like making those aircraft carriers. They said they were going to make 4, and we just let them build them. Yeah, what are we really going to do, right? Well, if we were going to do anything, it would have been before they built them. And I think they were talking about 7 of them. But anyway, more posturing going on in an already very tense world posture. And, what would this world tension be without Iran firing ballistic missile 1,000 kilometers in a provocative test amid the tanker row, which with U.S. and the U.K. I believe there was one time that they were actually considering sitting down with the U.S. and talking some things out if they would relieve some of these sanctions, because let me tell you, that's what they're saying. These sanctions are doing more than just crippling Iran. I mean, obviously they're able to fire off missiles, land people on, a tanker with a helicopter. I mean, doesn't take much for that, but in any case, that's what's going on. So I'm still waiting for a response from the tankers that they already took, and the 17 that they claimed they were going to murder the CIA spies. Still haven't heard anything about that. I would imagine that there are negotiations going on for that. And so this continues to be in the news from End Time Headlines. Cases of flesh-eating bacteria are on the rise as summer heats up. Yeah, we got another report. I think we got 2, and one of them's not in Florida. So anyways, more frequently and primarily on the eastern seaboard. World Watching was trying to tell me that there was somebody in the Washington state who was claiming that had this flesh-eating bacteria or something like that. Couldn't prove it to me. Couldn't give me an article. So um, that's obviously just speculation if we really don't have anything. I mean, and then there's like the case of the Texas man who, obviously has the flesh-eating bacteria in Texas, but that's not where he got it. He got it in Florida, claiming he never been on the water, or never went in the water, actually. He was on the water, but didn't go in the water. Anyways, so that's on the rise. And here, Hutto man, Hutto, Hutto man loses leg after exposure to flesh-eating bacteria on the Texas coast. Now, here's a story where claiming it was on the Texas coast. It's 50-year-old Robbie Seiler. The Hutto resident remains in the Cornerstone Hospital in Round Rock, recovering from Vibrio, otherwise known as flesh-eating bacteria. He considers himself lucky to be around for his family. His wife, Melissa Silver, calls him a miracle. So from the hospital room, Robbie Seiler laughed when he talked about the fish he caught during the fishing trip on his Father's Day weekend. Now, where did he go? The same weekend he contracted Vibrio, and he did catch a lot of fish that day. Yeah, but anyways, there's a read more. I like to know where he caught it. He'd be on the west coast. On the coast. Okay, so after a fishing trip to Baffin Bay. This is from Austin, Texas, and I do not know where Baffin Bay is. So if anyone knows, is that on the Texas coast? I did hear a rumor of more of these flesh-eating bacteria in the Gulf states, but yet to be real proof of that, like these articles here. Not that they're genuine 100% proof. We could vet it a little bit more. It might be worth breaking it all down and finding out. It would take a lot of work. I have all kinds of live streams that I could go around the country and listen to local news stations, but it could possibly not even be there. They could all be, like every other mainstream media, all given a script. But sometimes local newspapers will print some of these stories. It takes a lot of work for that. And I am by myself. It'd be nice if I could, have someone off to the side researching some of these things, going into the local newspapers online and going through these articles. So we could do an exclusive one time. So this swimmer dies from this rare brain-eating amoeba, at North Carolina Water Park. So I think there's kind of a similarities in, first of all, in places, it's normally in water parks where this brain-eating amoeba comes from. This was the thing that killed that girl who only had 2 weeks left before she was to graduate from high school. And she was at a water park. So I'm just saying, I don't know if this is just propaganda, but I don't know. What kind of chemicals do they put in these water parks? I've been to a place around here, not in my town, but next town over, and it's not a water park, but it is, it's a miniature golf type park, but it's a water, park. It has water, water hazards, fountain that shoots up this dark blue liquid. I mean, it's not the color of regular water, obviously. Regular water is clear. So they're obviously putting chemicals in there. I mean, maybe that's what these water parks, obviously they have to treat it somewhere and just recycle it. Maybe it's the recycling, the filtering, if they do any, I don't know, something somebody could look at. I don't think you have the patience to break this stuff down that deep. So another one, um, you don't know what the heck's out there, man. Probably a lot of stuff out there that we don't even know about yet and hasn't been encountered. Now that all this stuff, all the snow and everything is melting, the permafrost and all that in Alaska. I mean, Alaska, they're having a summer. They don't normally have a summer. I mean, they call it summer, but it's not summer like we have summer. 90 degrees, 80 degrees there. Other places in the Arctic are melting. They have been for a while, but they're going even faster. Look at these fires and the heat wave over in Europe, in Russia. There's articles out there about it having an effect on this water, this ice melting. Who knows what's been covered, after, hundreds and hundreds of years in the atmosphere that's kept, in the ice, melted, frozen. You remember that the reindeer that all died from, I had it right on the tip of my tongue there for a minute. That white powdery stuff that they had scares in Washington. Anthrax, yeah, there you go. So these deer ended up dying from that, and possibly a couple boys from the tribe nearby, or a tribe. So this is that link that I told you about, kind of conflicting with mainstream medias. They don't really give you a number, this number here. They don't tell you that there was 2 dead and 768 ill under this Salmonella outbreak. And there was actually 2 outbreaks. I'm going to bring it to your attention down here. 2 different episodes. So the CDC recently posted updates regarding 2 separate outbreaks, one linked to contact with poultry in backyard flocks, and one linked to contact with pig-eared dog treats, according to the latest CDC report. The outbreak now involves 48 states, 768 people affected. So now I have to, kind of backtrack a little bit about mainstream media. I mean, maybe they got the report just for the pig ears and broke that down. And actually, they said 27 states. They didn't say anybody. They didn't mention any number except for the states involved. So in any case, we'll erase that one for them. We'll leave it at an even. So let's see. 2 deaths were reported, one in Texas and one in Ohio. More than 75 outbreaks of Salmonella infections have been linked to contact with backyard poultry since 2000. In Tennessee, 55 people have become ill. The only other state to report more cases is Ohio, with 62 illnesses. The CDC says 24% of those interviewed who came ill are children under the age of 5. I think maybe I heard one time that people who are more susceptible to this salmonella is the younger children and the older folk. Really doesn't matter. I mean, if it's present in some food or something you're touching or eating, I mean, what are we going to say? Just let the people that are mid-age, say 30 to 40, do all the cooking? That wouldn't be fair. Probably get me out of cooking, but it's not. I don't mind cooking once in a while. I don't mind it at all. Sometimes I actually enjoy it, especially during the winter when you don't have summer and being able to go outside. Nobody likes cooking in the summer. That's why we have barbecue. So Europe's heat wave could now cause catastrophic melting of Greenland's ice sheet. There you have it. The same heat wave that swept across Belgium, France, Germany, Netherlands, and the United Kingdom this week breaking high temperature records reaching up to 114 degrees is wafting over Greenland and could cause catastrophic melting, said the United Nations. Reports that the heat could cause record melting of one of the world's largest ice sheets, contributing to rising sea levels around the globe. Well, not only that, folks, if it does melt that quickly, and it has to melt quickly in order for it to make any kind of a difference on sea levels. But the other thing with that is that this fresh water is mixing with salt water. And that's kind of how we get those, what do you call them? The river currents, the ocean currents, the direction that they flow. And, it's a combination of fresh water and salt water and so on and so forth. It creates that. It does that. I don't know exactly how it works, but yeah. And at one time, somebody said that the Gulf Stream has stopped. So it hasn't. It hasn't affected anything yet. At least that I've seen in the news. Ships are still reaching their destinations. There is a bigger growing dead zone in the Gulf that is growing. That's where nothing can live. Oxygen deprived dead zones. Kind of wonder how we got them, right? Has nothing to do with the oil capping and all that stuff that went on with BP back then, and the volcano that's also in the Gulf. I think it's near Louisiana, closer to the shore there, that they've kind of capped off. Well, not to mention the other massive volcano. What do they call them? Super volcanoes. I don't know. What else do they call them? Well, what is Yellowstone? This one is even bigger than Yellowstone, and that's off the Oregon coast. Probably one of the reasons, well, no, that was a different area. I'm sorry. I was thinking about the German sub that had that accident. There was an update maybe a day or so ago that they spoke about this Russian sub again with the 14, I guess, that died from the poison or the smoke that was in the sub. And it did not sink. It did, or they pulled it or towed it back home. So it did not sink. And also they'd mentioned that somehow they had averted a major Earth catastrophe by doing whatever they did down there, whatever that was. Of course, they're not going to tell you. It leads us all to speculate again. But that was the latest update for that. Yeah, so hello, Hen and Terry, Laura. God bless you too. Yeah, so in the meantime, Earth breaks all-time high temperature as a deadly heat wave grips Europe. 104 degrees Fahrenheit in Park Montesaurus, set more than 70 years ago. Yeah, and it was all 107 at Deelen, Netherlands. 106 was recorded in Lingen. So, one way or the other, right? Yeah, I'm not going to go into that story right now. So I don't know how anybody else feels, or what's your understanding or your theories or what you believe about people supposedly dying and coming back to life. Okay. I'm going to say this thing towards the end. I don't even know if I'm going to talk about it. Mainly because of the way I believe. I don't believe that any of that happened. But let's finish this news first. I guess we're going to get into some of the really, flipped out people out there. This is from, I guess it's from the Daily Mail. Yeah, Daily Mail. So this woman, moment of furious Florida woman, Florida again, okay? I wonder if she has this flesh-eating bacteria in her brain, or maybe the amoeba brain-eating disease, because she just went nuts. She was mad for some reason at this guy driving this luxurious white SUV, smashes it all up with a hammer and sprays it with black paint during a heated argument. Now, who normally carries around black spray paint in their car? She's driving a red car, okay? Why? I don't know. Just happened to have that spray paint, available at the right time. So there is a little video in here, and she just goes crazy. Nice SUV, smashes all the windows, all the lights, bangs, hammers with, against the car, sprays the white part of it black paint, while two people, photographed it, videotaped it. That's just one of many that we see constantly. And then we have, again, this is like the third time. Maybe I'm just going to stop reporting it. Maybe it'll go away. Okay. Also from the Daily Mail. So I mean, they probably look for these things. It's not hard to find. Not hard to find at all. Disgusting footage shows two Indiana teenagers spitting into soda bottles before putting them back on the store's shelves in the latest food tampering craze. There's just one simple rule to all this, okay? One simple rule. Fallen angels cannot raise the dead. Oh, I agree. That's a whole different subject, Carrie. Fallen angels. There's not much that they can do. They can morph. They can change their appearance. So anyways, there's one rule on, with all this tampering, all these stupid idiots spitting and licking ice cream and other things that they do. Okay, I've seen people take videos of people urinating in cereals in a warehouse, on an assembly line. It's just crazy. There's not much you can do about that part of it unless you get a video of it and they find out where it comes from. I know eventually they probably did that. But the other things is, if the seals are broken, don't take them. If you get it home and the seal's broken, throw it away or bring it back, whatever. Don't ever eat or drink out of something you purchase from the store that its seal or its vacuum packed seal is broken. Just don't open it. Throw it away. Bring it back. Whatever's easier. Whatever keeps you calm. This is just, it's very easy to find these stories. That's all I'm saying. And I know, unless it's really way out there, I don't even think I'm going to report those things anymore. But this is crazy. And it gets crazier from Natural News, of course. They have a lot of controversial videos, and I appreciate them. So the title is WTF, Feminist strips naked in front of children for art display. Well, I hope to God that I have people who are listening, may hear this later, that are already getting furious, getting infuriated, mad. I mean, first of all, it's supposed to be part of some exhibit, okay, photo exhibit. I mean, first of all, she only does it with 4 boys looking on. Now, if that was a man who went and disrobed himself in front of 4 girls, he would be arrested. Would he not? He would be arrested. Why is this woman not arrested? I mean, first of all, it's very hard to look at because she's not attractive at all. And, once we get old, everything just droops. I don't even want to look at that stuff in the mirror. And, I make sure that I get from the chin up and that's it. And the rest of it, I just don't look at. It's not attractive. I mean, we had our days, we had our prime time, and enjoyed that. But this is not, it's not an art project or photo. It's just crazy. It's really disgusting. And there were other comments that were made in here. I mean, here's some of the comments. So, yeah, I'm a grown woman and I don't want to see that. Terrible. Yeah, it is. And there's, nobody has put any agreeable comments in there. So why are they allowed to do this? Why didn't somebody call the cops? I don't care if it's in a private home. I mean, if you have 4 boys there that are not yours, it's still, wrong. It's still exposing yourself. It's still, whatever you call it, sexual misconduct or exploitation of children. Yeah, it says this, I would have a complete come apart as a parent. Okay, did parents sign consent forms for this? Did those forms say your children will be flashed? If this were a man flashing girls, people would rightfully explode. This isn't okay. And of course, they state that this woman is a feminist. I mean, once you're a feminist, I don't know what that really means. Once you're a feminist, you can do anything you want to do and it's okay. I mean, I remember the feminist movement, when I was young and, they burned their bras. That was the big thing. They burned their bras, went running around topless. Okay, whoopee, as a young man, I thought that very exciting. I thought it was great. Burn the bras, yeah. It's not what it meant, but that's what they did. Yeah, whatever. It's a movement that they can just put back in the box. Okay, and they can go arrest this woman, and she can be on the on that list where mostly men go. I've seen, you got to be careful of these lists too, because people obviously for good reason watch for those things. I remember one instance where I read about when this list came out and I looked over it a little bit. One of the men in there was arrested and charged with some kind of sexual crime and put in the list because he had to take a pee outside and got caught. I mean, who hasn't done that once in their life? Come on, guys, gals, admit it, at least once in your life. You've done it also. No, you have. So, and this guy goes on a list and is labeled the rest of his life for that. Yeah, he made a mistake. He didn't quite make sure nobody was there. Anyway, right? It doesn't, you really shouldn't do it if you don't have to, but I remember long trips on the road, not too many, sometimes it took quite a while to get to the next stop. In any case. And this is a bill that may pass. This one you need to pay attention to, especially for any YouTubers who put out videos. This it's a media blackout. If the Senate bill, which they're labeling 1273 in California, I believe, that's where all these crazy laws come from, passes, you could be fined $15,000 for sharing memes on social media. Okay? So, you find a photo or something on there and you want to share it with your best friend or all your friends in your list. Well, you could be fined $15,000 for that. Okay, Judiciary Committee passed, and it went through some portions of, I guess it's the Senate. The Senate Judiciary Committee passed S-1273, the Copyright Alternative in Small Claims Enforcement Act. called CASE Act that will provide U.S. creators with a viable means for defending their copyrighted works through the creation of a small claims tribunal within the U.S. Copyright Office. And this goes on to tell you who co-sponsored, signed the bill, passed it. The legislation creates a voluntary small claims board within the Copyright Office that will provide copyright owners with an alternative to the expensive process of bringing copyright claims, including infringement and misrepresentation under 512F in federal court. So whether you share an LOL cat or a picture of an AOC trying to use a garbage disposal, it may not matter. You can be fined. If this passes, and of course it's just for us, they don't have to worry about it. If someone holds a copyright to that photo you were sharing, they can take you to court and you can be forced to pay $15,000. Yeah, I understand that, Terry. Yeah, a lot of homeless. Well, I don't know about San Francisco, but LA, a lot of homeless. I mean, and a lot of people do not allow them into their establishments. You know, if they're not buying anything, then they can't go and use it. I've been to New York before and had to go to the bathroom and couldn't get into a couple of places because I wasn't buying anything. So anyways, it's a tough situation. I think the freaking town that has this homelessness problem should have to put in those portable potties. They don't want this going out there, put in the portable potties. Then they don't have no reason not to go in there. Yeah, well, I wouldn't want to send my young children, if I had them, driving through a place where there's homeless people in tents or whatever they were living in, drive through this block or wherever it is, and then see them all peeing and doing other things. I mean, I guess you lose a little bit of the dignity that you have. Um, I know that's a totally different subject that I haven't gotten into yet, talked about, but people are sometimes they're starting to create laws now where the homeless are, a blight. It's like let's get them out of our state. Let's send them to somebody else's state. Let's go drive them to the border. South Carolina did that. That's why one of those places, South Carolina, North Carolina, they don't have the homeless people that other places have, because there's many stories that came out of there that said that they took these homeless, they brought them into jail and said, you have a choice. Either you stay in jail or we drive you to the border. And so that's how they take care of that problem there. And in cases now, I don't know where, I've heard about a couple of days ago, I think we talked about it. They're actually going to start arresting these homeless people for being homeless. It's just very sad state. There is no more compassion. It's just everything is built on hate. You can see it in the Democratic Party, the demon rat party. I mean, just demonic, possession and delusional thoughts, and it's foul. Everything's foul. So remember those places that these tourists, this couple died. What was it? I want to make sure I got the place. The Dominican Republic, where they had supposedly drank from a minibar and later died. Yeah, and they were not the only couple. There was other ones. So this place, the Dominican Republic, they have the tourism plunges 75%. Well, I can see why. I mean, they tried to hide these deaths under other pretenses. until the real thing came out. And then not only that, I mean, you get this other headline here. Another woman falls ill in the Dominican Republic after strong chemical odor detected in the hotel room. I don't know. The chemicals they use, man, that you really should stop using. I don't know if they're cheaper and they're trying to save money, but if you can lose 75% of your tourism, you know, it's over. It's all over. So, anyways, this last story, and I'm going to make it short. It's, I don't want to get into talking too much about it. I do want comments. I want your opinions. Okay. This story from TMIN, and that is the most important news. It's the first time I went there, and that also brought me to over there to let's see, God Reports. Okay, this 13-year-old girl tragically drowned and laid on the bottom of a swimming pool for 30 minutes. What she saw next will astound you. Okay, and this is just, I don't see how she can prove it. I don't see how anybody else can prove it. All I can say is that she laid in that pool dead for 30 minutes. And, well, she's obviously alive because she's lived to tell you what happened while she was dead. And supposedly she described seeing her soul come out of her body, walk across the pool bottom, climb up the metal stairs to the pool, and then look up to the sky, and she started going up. And she said it happened really fast. I mean, she was shooting up to the sky, and next thing you know, she was out into space and could see all the stars. And then she got to the gates of heaven. And when she was at the gates of heaven, Satan was there and says, "No, no, no, you're mine." And then the Lord, God himself said, "No, no, Satan, she's mine." And they repeated that, she said, for at least 3 times. And then Jesus said, "No, she's mine." And it's not her time yet, but she's mine. And that's what she said happened. Now, my opinion is, and it can be backed up in the Bible. I can't tell you exactly where it is because I'm an idiot and I can't remember these things, but I know it's in there. And I could be wrong, but I'm just stating that this is my opinion. And Jesus said, "No man has gone to heaven. Only he has gone to heaven, even him that came down from heaven." When we die, we sleep. We don't go and see heaven's gates. Well, don't get me wrong. Now that's just for the living. That's just with the people who are living. This person who dies goes and stays asleep and is protected by angels until the end. Okay. Now I understand that absent from the body is present with the Lord. And we die, we go directly to heaven. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we go to heaven if that's where we go. Okay? But for us who are living, the ones who die are sleeping until he comes back. And then the dead in Christ will rise first, and then those who are left will meet him in the air. Right? That's what the Bible says. But I want your opinion of it too. There's a lot of people that have gone and supposedly died and came back and said they talked with God, walked with God, and all these other things. I had one girl, a sister, who even wrote a book about it. Yeah. I don't believe it. Jesus said no one has gone to heaven. I believe him. No one. Well, you got you got Enoch. You got, who was the first one there? I'm trying to remember his name. Elijah. Those are two that did not die anyway, but they can't go to heaven in a physical body. That's also stated in the Bible too. That flesh cannot enter into heaven. Just can't do it. So they may not have died, like in being drowned or being in an accident. They didn't die. They were in the blink of an eye, like we will later on. Okay, be transformed. Okay. Now those in spirit form, that's something I have to think about, because I don't know if they're in heaven with Jesus right now or not, because it was a different way that they were taken. Do not know that. There's no way to prove it. I mean, even during the transformation, and up there with the disciples, when he saw Moses and who was the other one? Elijah and Moses and Jesus, God. Who else was there? Anyway, I know I'm getting some of the other ones during. I don't know exactly who showed up during that transfiguration, but very obviously supernatural things were going on, and not going to be able to understand or explain them until we see Jesus. So yeah, well, I would, maybe at one time I thought too, Terry, but it says in the Bible that flesh cannot enter heaven. It does say that when we come back, that we will have our, well, what do you call it? We will have our own bodies, but they will be spiritual. They won't be flesh. I mean, some people will see them, just like Abraham saw the angels under the tree and he went to them. They were in physical form, but they are also angels, spiritual. So you can have spiritual looking physical bodies, and we'll all get one. That's my assumption. I mean, that's how I understand, Abraham meeting those angels. And they were able to eat. So, there was some kind of something going on there. I mean, I believe the Bible that, flesh cannot enter the spiritual realm. They just can't not enter together like that. This is different. This is earth. Angels can come here in different forms, just like Satan and Enoch, when he tried to deceive Abraham and Isaac on the road, turned the road into a roaring brook. Satan did. He turned himself into a roaring brook. Now, I believe all these angels, even fallen angels, are able to morph themselves into whatever they want to or are allowed to. That's why I didn't want to get into it too much, but it's a good subject to talk about, if we can talk about it and not anyone get too offended. I would like to go look up scriptures, during a talk like that, and be able to, see some of these things in the Bible. But I'm still learning like everyone else, so I don't claim to know. I have bad recollection of, chapter and verse, but I can remember the stories and other things and details. But tell you where it is? No, I couldn't. I pray to the Holy Spirit a lot that I can somehow recall that information. And the Holy Spirit said He would reveal these things in His timing, and not our timing. So He will recall those things for you. He said He would do that purposely, because we can't remember all of it. I don't know, but maybe even Jesus said that at one time too, that we cannot remember the whole thing, or we couldn't recall all of it. That we would need the Holy Spirit to help us. In any case, sorry about that. Something I just I don't know, I had to talk about. So with that, everyone, it's Friday. Okay, it's Friday for all you people who have to work during the week. Weekend, Sabbath tonight into tomorrow. God bless and blessings on your Sabbath. Enjoy your time with the Lord. And those who take other time, I always enjoy the time with the Lord. But make time, definitely make time. Getting close and things we need to be sure about. So with that, protect your family, love your family, don't take offense, forgive them, and keep them close. So with that, everyone, God bless you. I'll probably be in and out. I mean, it's going to be hot this weekend again, so I don't think I'm going to want to be outside for too long. So with that, God bless you, everyone. Peace out.